everybody, it is Calxiyn and Hunter here. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys should become patrons over on Patreon to support the channel, but you guys should subscribe. So, Hunter has feelings. I mean, I also have feelings.
I think we all have feelings.
We all have feelings, I hope. Last week, the video about Tyrion, it was a little controversial, apparently, but here's what I'm gonna say, okay? Y'all gotta fucking relax, okay? Just because we say that, like, your favorite character is getting annoying for us doesn't mean they're objectively bad. Like, we're not doing a criticism video where we pick apart everything wrong with them writing-wise. Like, we were just saying, oh, we're annoyed, or oh, we didn't like this. But that's just us. It's not an attack on you, right?
Personally.
Yeah.
Although I don't read the comments, so I don't care
nobody commented. People just, like, disliked and were like, fuck you, and left. You know what I mean?
Well,
and so, like, the dislike ratio for that wasn't bad. It was 70%, but our channel's usually around a 90% like ratio. So a lot of people were like, Cal, you shouldn't make videos like this. And I was like, no, fuck off. Fuck you. We're gonna make whatever we want.
So this is not related to the topic of the video.
No, but I'm saying this because don't feel personally butthurt, alright, if we say something about one of your favorite characters this time. Because we're talking about Oscar and Qrow today. And we're not talking about anything wrong with them, but we are talking about sort of more of a writing
Alright, so there's the idea of like the setup and the payoff, like the Chekhov gun, where you introduce something, like what they did it perfectly with Terror, how they introduced the radio signal, and then it's brought back
work here
later on.
And then she helps, right?
Exactly. With Qrow and with Oscar. With Oscar especially, there was a lot of build-up, but not a lot of payoff.
Yeah. And people were like, well, he developed because he came back with a changed mindset, but I was...
And a new wardrobe. But honey, a new wardrobe...
we saw that. And I said this in another video, but wouldn't it be cool if we saw Oscar heading towards the train station? No, he doesn't say anything, but we see a clip and he's walking in the streets, he's heading towards the train station, but then he sees, like, a Huntsman supply store. And he looks in the window and he sees his reflection in one of the outfits. Like, there's a mannequin that is about his size, and he's looking back at it, and the head of Oscar is over the head of the mannequin, so he sees himself in that outfit and knows that this is what he's meant to do.
A little cliche.
Yeah, but I like it. That's so cute.
A little cliche. Maybe it's like he goes in, he tries on the outfit's too big, he's like, ah, fuck, and then he goes and he gets a different one. I mean, that would at least be comedically subversive.
Even if he just looked in the window. He doesn't need to see all of that, like, himself in the outfit. But even if he just looked, like, almost like two different, like, he could keep going to the train station, or he just looks in the window and he just stares. So at least we see his mindset. He wants to leave, he wants to run away, but then he sees that being a huntsman is something he wants to do, and he wants to use his time, however much time he has left, to be sort of helpful and to try to save the world, because he's really like RWBY in this episode. He's very optimistic, and he's very much like, we can do this, right? So I was a little disappointed that we didn't get to see any of that, and people are like, well, what do you want him to do, talk to himself? And I'm like, no, it doesn't need to be a verbal, he doesn't need to be Hamlet, and so, like, do this, like, soliloquy, like, he doesn't need to be like, alas, poor Yorick, I knew you well, like, just talk to himself in the street like a crazy person, but we can at least sort of see him alone and sort of see the expression in his face.
At least he has a moment where he needs to confront what was hurting him, because to us, all it seemed is he left and he came back and everyone was fine and he made a casserole. And like the whole idea of it being Neo and him drugging the casserole and Qrow having the same today
that was much more interesting than
is a little ridiculous. But at least it gives the opportunity for, like, oh, he wasn't just fine, actually something really bad happened, and then Qrow was the only one who didn't eat the casserole, so both of them are going to have to,
I get why they didn't do that. Like, watching this episode, they have a certain trajectory, like, steal the plane, Adam versus Blake, Cordovan versus the rest of them, right? So I see the trajectory they're going on, and Neo and Cinder wouldn't fit into that, and so I'm not like, well, they should have done our idea, but it was sort of the idea of Qrow is pissy, he goes back downstairs, sees everybody's in trouble, and he has to rescue them. Like, that was sort of the idea,
Qrow is also, like, not, because it forces Qrow to be a hero, and Qrow no longer wants to be a hero, no longer wants to have to sacrifice. But now
Qrow's sort of with him, and RWBY just gave him another motivational speech, and he seems to feel okay now. And so that's just kind of like, eh.
That's less lame, because at least, like you said, you see it happen. You see a moment where it's like, oh, everything is shit. At least that you had a moment.
I mean, he does say, like, oh, this is all my fault. He thinks it's all my fault. And we finally get to hear out loud what he's been internalizing, and that's why he's been drinking. I think there's still the opportunity for him to be the hero now, though. Because I feel like...
It's not done with him. They're still going to do more. And, like, it's not done with... Obviously, it's not done with Oscar.
I think the Qrow payoff can happen, but the Oscar payoff may not. Because that moment has sort of passed in a way. Like, it would have been a good time to do it in that sort of spot between John and him returning. But it would have to sort of be now him merging with Ozpin.
Because when he says everything is fine, then that, like, kind of... Maybe he was lying. Maybe he's not actually feeling that way. I feel like there's still room, maybe. Because it's weakened by the fact that he's like, oh, I'm okay. Who wants casserole? Like, so, because it's upsetting that he goes from down in the dumps to casserole to down in the dumps again.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, oh, I thought you fixed all your problems and you had casserole. Unless there's literally a line where Oscar's like, God damn it, I'm not this better because I made a fucking casserole. I need help. I am so stressed all the time. I am so small, and there's a man inside of me, which sounds weird, but it's a whole thing.
We're better than that, Hunter. We're better than those jokes.
We're better than those jokes.
But I feel like Qrow still has a chance. Like, when Qrow was fighting against Cordovin, him sort of using his bird semblance and him using his bad luck and all the stuff that maybe he hates about himself. We don't know if he hates the bird.
I feel like he could have, like, a good moment where he's, like, fighting Cordovin of just, like, I don't know, like, he's talking to himself right before he's gonna, like, deal the big final smash.
We also talked about him sacrificing himself to save Maria. Or not sacrificing himself, sorry. Him getting in the way to rescue Maria, because it's sort of a roundabout way of if Maria dies or Maria gets injured or something like that, Qrow looked up to her. She inspired him. And so for him to save her in the end and have Maria be like, you're not as useless as me. I shouldn't have said that to you. You know what I mean? Because you did say something like that earlier. You're just like, well, if you looked up to me, you must be a fuck up. Like, she basically says that to him, right? And so I feel like there's still a chance for them to go... going forward to resolve the Qrow stuff.
He didn't really say, like, if you looked up to me, you must be a fuck up.
Well, that's what Maria said. Maria said to that.
Okay.
Remember, Maria was like, because he was like, you were the Grim Reaper. I modeled my weapon after yours. And then Maria was like, well, you must be a disappointment like me then. And we're just like, yikes.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? And so if something happens to Maria, because they are being attacked while we're on the plane, and she has sort of a final moment with Qrow,
I'm eating my cashews. I'm never going to die.
I don't know. They may be able to do it so it's, yes, they're using a trope, but it's not cliche, if that makes sense. And so I think that if they do that, the sort of idea would be, listen, like, you're not a fuck up. You are a great huntsman. Like, for her to talk to Qrow. And so I really like this picture somebody did of, I think somebody did this after our video. Someone
drew Oscar with Neo eyes pouring poison into a casserole baked.
Somebody did,
which is the single greatest thing that has ever happened to me on this channel.
Did an image of Qrow and Maria like looking at each other, and then child Qrow and regular Maria, and like him like holding up something for her to sign or something like that. Right? Regular Maria as opposed to old Maria, sorry. But yeah, I think there's still time. I think that they missed an opportunity with the Oscar conflict, but that doesn't mean that we will not get something else. And I feel like that with Qrow, there's still time for him to kind of swoop in, literally, because he's a bird, and sort of be...
You're proud of that one?
Yeah, and be helpful and be a cool huntsman to the group, especially because he has been sort of mopey all volume. And so for him to decide he does want to participate in the fight because it's not for nothing, maybe it's not about helping Ozpin anymore, but he wants to help the kids grow and be successful and whatever. So I think that's a good sort of sentiment. So again, we're not saying they're unfixable. We're not saying that their characters are shit. I mean, people wouldn't have gotten through 9 minutes of the video if that's what they thought we were saying anyway.
I'm just saying that there was a missed opportunity. But then again, we don't know what they're doing. They may have this big... Obviously, they're going to have these
I think they are going to have Qrow do this big epic thing in the fight, and that's going to resolve it.
They'll have their opportunity to... They'll have their opportunity to build character, and so we don't know what the future holds.
I think Qrow's payoff is imminent.
Like, giant robots are great,
but we don't know about Oscars.
But casseroles.
Oh God, Hunter. Anyway, So yeah, that's basically my final sort of thought on it, is that...
My final thought is that I really can't wait for all the Maria Calavera cosplays where she just has a big bag of cashews and she's eating them hand over fist.
Hunter. Alright, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. But yeah, that's my final sort of idea, is that Oscar, it may be like slightly too late to do what we kind of had in mind with him, but with Qrow, I think that it can be done in the final battle. So yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys enjoy, and we will see you guys later. Bye! Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys want to support the channel, you guys should be patrons just like our wonderful patrons whose names will come on the screen now. $10 patrons get videos sometimes 2 weeks in advance, sometimes 3 weeks in advance, basically much earlier than anyone else. They can also request us to do a video for them, so this could be a reaction, a theory, a discussion, anything like that. Our $5 patrons get a week in advance early access, or somewhere within that time frame, so between 2 days early and 7 days early basically, but usually it's 7 days early because I'm good with my scheduling. Anyway, our $1 patrons and all of our patrons above the $1 tier get access to our Discord server, so if you guys want to talk with us, talk with other fans of whatever you're watching right now, you guys can, and I hope that we will see you there. Bye.